About 3 years ago. I got myself in trouble, and long story short, very long story short, got myself in trouble, went to prison, went to immigration prison, and then eventually I got deported. I was born here, so I came back here. When I arrived, completely homeless, nowhere to go, hadn't lived here, no money, no job, nothing.
My name's Kelechi Okafor. I'm an actor, director, dance innovator and social commentator.
My name's Nicola. I sell vintage clothes and my business is called Little Sister.
Old Spike in itself is actually an amazing thing. It was put together to actually help people, homeless people, back into a working lifestyle, back into, help support through many of different programs.
Clothes are just about people, whether or not they're vintage or they're modern clothes. They have a history, they have feelings. People, when you put some clothes on, you get this sense of reinventing yourself. You're a different person. What am I going to wear today?
What I like about the Peckham community is we're all very supportive of each other.
Because although I am not the little sister, although my middle sister thinks she's the oldest, I am the oldest sister. So in honour of my two sisters, I created Little Sister.
They sent me to another training program for coffee this time. This one was called Well Grounded. And they basically taught me everything on how to make coffee, and then that's when I realized that there's a real career involved with coffee.
More than that, I think that my parents felt like if you go into an art-based, kind of job, that you would need. Going into telly was a good compromise for them, but I think it wasn't enough for me, especially having 3 children and being married and stuff like that. I started on eBay and then I progressed to doing, I first sold books because books are also my passion, and then I moved on to clothes because people said, oh, I really like what you buy, because I've always worn vintage, I've always worn secondhand.
But Peckham itself is full of a lot of history, and there's so much diversity that you can walk down the street and get food from almost every country there is.
For a true sense of Peckham, I guess, I love Angel's Bakery. It's up Rye Lane where they sell suya. If you don't know what suya is, well, get to know. So I love there because that's just in essence for me what Peckham is, a reminder of being from Nigeria. To me, it was always like a little Lagos.
African food, Indian food, Chinese food, American food, British food, everything's here.
I have lived in Peckham now for over 20 years, and my parents were here before, and it's like I'm come back. I used to go to school in Burden-Bush Lane.
But I remember one time my mum sent me to the market and she gave me, I think it was a £50 note, and on my way I lost the money, and I just thought that that's the day that my life was going to end. And I was walking back and I happened to be around Talford Place, just behind the Peckham fire station. And it was just there folded up between the gates. That's the first day I knew God existed. And also that, I got my money and then I went quietly back to the market and got the things. But yeah, those are the things that stand out for me in Peckham, like a childhood that was just rich with so many different things.
And it can feel that way, but it can also be intimidating to a lot of people who have never been here before. All they hear is stories. Oh God, don't go to Peckham, you're gonna get stabbed. Come on, man.
I've got a childhood memory of walking down this high street and there being a CNA, there being a department store. It was a very different high street, and then we had the riots, and then I think that a lot of these businesses like Marks and Spencer's and so on just took their business and left.
And Peckham's changed quite a lot, mostly in the last 3 years, but it's grown organically. So it's been young upstarts, it's been businesses that are sort of wanting, young people wanting to start a business.
I think that the challenges for me is really gentrification. That's the thing we do not speak about. We will not name it, but our hearts are going boom, 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 boom.
And Peckham, everybody's flocking to Peckham, so Peckham's a place to be. And from what I understand, Peckham went from nobody wanting to live here to everybody wanting to live here.
And we're in a good position that no corporations have moved into the area as yet, but I'm sure they've got their eye on the area, because Peckham Rye and Peckham is on the up and it's on the map, and obviously comes with that other people wanting to make money from the area.
What we're having is this circular thing where it's more than a slow creep. It's speeding up. I think in the last 4 or 5 years, we're seeing You know, a lot of our local business, our African businesses disappearing, a lot of the meat. I mean, I know not everybody like the meat shops, but a lot of the meat shops going.
The other thing that comes with gentrification is, lots of people want to live here and enjoy living here, and obviously the house prices go up. But with that is a knock-on effect that it marginalises people and it pushes people out of the area that have lived here for decades.
Timor Grace is still here. BIMS is still here, even though the woman who started it has now passed away. So her legacy still lives on. And so that matters to me about black women, Nigerian women having a legacy in the UK, and most especially in areas like Peckham, Brixton, all the areas that they've kind of moved us out to initially because they didn't want to live there. And we made those areas thrive to the point where they were like, oh wow, so vibrant, so interesting, let's go and gentrify it.
You know, we've done what we do to promote Peckham as a thing, as a destination, as an exciting, interesting place. And I'd like to see, local government giving us something back and helping to support our endeavours.
They don't see us, they see paper. And that's the biggest problem with big companies and corporations and governments. They don't see the people who it actually affects.
I feel that Southwark isn't supporting us at all. If we put a poster up, they accuse you of fly tipping, they say they're going to fine you, they won't allow us to have our A-frame boards up on the street, whereas places like Costa are allowed to do so, and I think it's not a level playing field.
Being a black female business owner should be an Olympic sport because it's an extreme sport, it's extreme.
Because I'm originally from West London, we used to make a mecca to Peckham. We buy our spices, buy our food, buy our hair, and then and go back to Paddington because we just don't have that there. So there's a big people don't really realise there is a big influx of people coming from all up the black diaspora coming to Peckham to get what they need because their areas have become gentrified and they can't find it.
You need small businesses because small businesses are your community.
But people have been here, they've done their time. This is the reason why people like Peckham. It's because of all these different businesses.
I think independent businesses are important to the local community and other communities because people want to have a connection with the business owners and the staff that work there. They want to feel that they're buying something local, they're buying into a whole sort of ethos.
People can go anywhere. They can get on the overground and go to East London if they want vintage. But people are hunting me out and they're finding me. And why is that? And I think that's because they want you, in a way.
You go to a fitness studio, they're going to show you lots of skinny white women, probably blonde women, and to them that's the norm. So why not show a new norm? Not even a new norm because it's been here for centuries, but just reminding black women that they matter too. And that's why my price points, all of these things, because these are the things that I'm talking about, like the nuances, but actually that's how you ostracize people. Not to say that black people don't have money, but it's the fact that if you set it at a particular level, the people that have that sort of disposable income readily and consistently, you're going to attract a particular type of clientele. And should a black woman with her disposable income come into your space, when she's not seeing herself, when you're speaking to her as if she's a second-rate citizen, even though she paid the same rate to attend these classes, she's not likely to come back.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern is the rent hikes and the rate hikes. The councils and landlords get greedy, and they understand, they realise that money can be made from, and obviously we don't want to leave because we're an established business and we're doing well, And
I'd just like things to stop now, at this stage. I don't want it to move on. I don't want it to become Brixton. I've got a lot of people coming through from Brixton saying how that it's not for them. It's become lots of local businesses have been pushed out, and that could very well happen here.
As a small business, we're working quite tight profit margins. So any fluctuation in the fixed costs could dramatically affect your ability to make any profit. So it could push businesses out of the area.
But if we become like a Notting Hill or wherever, then what about working class people or whatever their colour or race or religion? Where are they going to go to shop? We can't all go shopping in Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose. We can't afford it.
I think it would be damaging for a lot of small businesses to have a Costa or a Starbucks more come in, because they serve food and they serve processed food and stuff like that. Although it's expensive, it's convenient for people, so they'll get it. So there goes not only a coffee shop, but maybe a small deli.
You know, having a, you know, kind of a homogeneous, samey high street like everywhere else. We're not like everywhere else, we're Peckham.
You know, in terms of the council, you won't want to listen because I'm just anybody talking. But if I'm a business owner in Peckham talking about the way that Peckham is changing, you have to listen to me, you know? And so it matters that we have some socio-economic standing if we are to have any actual change or to have any say in the changes that are taking place in our community. I
shop locally. You know, I buy the majority of my things on this high street, you know. But if you do not shop locally, if you do not support us, we will die. We will not continue to grow. We will not be here. All you have is Topshop, you know, Marks and Spencer's, WH Smith's, or, you know, Sports Direct, all of those stuff. And it will be just another boring high street.
Since we as a company have really kind of made a name and we've spread ourselves over Peckham, so we have here the train station and Camberwell, so that covers almost all of Peckham. So we've exposed a lot of people to good coffee, and people are now going into Costa and they're saying, well, what the hell do they serve in there? And I'm just like, well, you know where we are.
And you know, you could get off your bus with a little blindfold and they dump you here, and you could be, where could you be? You could be in Milton Keynes, you could be in anywhere. But you know, right now, Peckham is exciting, it's vibrant, it's full of so many different creative people, so many interesting people, so many local people who are born and brought up here. And at this point, I think it's really cool and I really love it. But yeah, I'm a little bit uncertain about the future, because gentrification has its pluses, but it also definitely has its negatives. It doesn't take everybody with it. And I think, you know, we need a diverse community, we really do, and a diverse retail community. All our communities need to be served.